So, video number 2. This practice is fundamentally for our nervous system. So if you feel overstimulated, if you're suffering from any kind of, inflammation, sorry, the words don't always come. If you're suffering from inflammation in the body, in your joints, in your system, if your nervous system is overstimulated, this is a meditation that came to me when I was extraordinarily overstimulated. I think it was my eldest daughter's 10th birthday. Now, I'm an older mum. I had my kids at the ages of 37 and 40. And in hindsight, I realised that that's not such a great idea because our hormones, our estrogen drops off at 40. And our estrogen is the hormone that helps us to accommodate everybody else's needs. So when you have little children growing up who need you, and the hormone that helps you accommodate all of those needs is just taking a nosedive, it can be quite challenging. So just a little word out there for mums that think they're going to wait until they've had a great career to have their babies at a later age. There are downsides to this, but it's still obviously doable, and I love my kids and I love being a mum. Most of the time. So on this particular occasion, I had my moon time. It was, and again, I'm getting closer to menopause now, so I'm much more sensitive and my nervous system is slightly sandblasted from my youngest daughter, who's absolutely amazing but feisty and really puts me through it sometimes. So it was my eldest daughter's birthday, and she had about 12 friends for a sleepover. It was on a Friday night, and they arrived throughout the afternoon. I had my period. And basically all I wanted to do was be in my bedroom, in bed, in a little dark corner, alone and quiet, which was the last thing that happened. So I had 12 kids in and out of my house all night. They don't have sleepovers, they have wakeovers, where they try and stay awake for as long as possible. Luckily, I've got a shed out in the garden, so I had the littlies came into the roundhouse and were sleeping in there. But they didn't get in until about 10:30, 11 o'clock. And then the bigger kids were in the shed in the garden having a wakeover. That was quite noisy. So I had a very late night with lots and lots of children, lots of demands, lots of foods, lots of all of that. The next day, they were there until 3 o'clock when a good friend came and scooped them all out of my house and took them off for a walk. And just as I was starting to feel like maybe I could decompress, another friend turned up to visit, which was lovely, but possibly not the best timing. So they stayed, then someone else turned up, then someone else turned up. It was quite surreal. Then that evening, my partner has a live music gig, so people turned up for that, and it was just busy, busy, busy. All the kids came back about 2 or 3 hours later. I think it was 1 o'clock in the morning, Saturday night, second day, that finally everybody left. The kids were asleep. The last person left my house. And I leaned against the back of the sofa, and my whole body felt like, my nervous system just felt like it was on fire. I was almost trembling with the overstimulation of those 2 days. And it was my fault for not taking the time to just go, excuse me, but go away. And getting better at that as my estrogen dips. But yeah, I was basically screwed. And I was leaning against the sofa, just feeling my body, feeling my whole physiology, just kind of like, and it was red. It was electric red. And so I'm thinking, red. Okay, well, what's the opposite of red? And immediately emerald green, deep forest emerald green. So I went and lay down in my bed and just imagined my entire body being bathed in emerald green light. And as I was doing this, obviously I felt very acidic. Red is a very acidic colour when it's inside the body. So as I was doing this, I was just saying to myself, alkalizing flush, alkalizing flush. And I was just feeling my body, and I was imagining it just being flushed with this beautiful forest green, emerald green colour, or saying alkalizing flush, and just flushing my body and alkalizing it. And again, I did this for maybe 10, 15 minutes. and just really rested in this deep, deep green colour. And I couldn't believe when I got out of bed, and yes, even though it was 1 in the morning, I still got out of bed because I think I just had a few last things to sort out. I got out of bed and my whole system was just calm. I was blown away. I was not expecting that as a result. But my whole system felt absolutely reset. Just 15 minutes of bathing in green emerald light, imagined green emerald light. I didn't have any real light. It was totally visualized. But it worked. And since then, I think a couple of years ago, I got a blackthorn went into my finger, which can be very nasty. And a month or two after it had happened, my knuckles started to go strange and feel slightly arthritic. And then the knuckles on my other hand also started to feel, and I was just thinking, wow, what's going on? I'm not getting arthritis. That's not okay. And so then I started doing green alkalizing flush just on my hands when they would feel quite awful or quite stiff. I would just lie down and I would just imagine like my hands or my arms just being flushed with this, again, beautiful deep green, emerald forest green colour. And I would just imagine it throughout my bones, throughout my joints, just bathing my whole arms and my hands. So if you have like arthritic stuff going in your body, if you're suffering from inflammation in your body, if you're suffering from overstimulation, if your nervous system keeps getting switched onto high alert, obviously there's breathing practices you can do that can really benefit your nervous system. And just as a first rule of emergency, I would always say to my children, first rule of emergency, breathe. And it has to be through the nose, because when you breathe through the nose, this immediately activates the rest and restore side of your nervous system. If you're mouth breathing, this immediately stimulates the fight and flight aspect of your nervous system. It puts your nervous system into high alert and panic. So whatever you're doing, if you just notice that you're breathing through your mouth, shift to nose breathing. And obviously, if you're going to try this meditation, make sure you're breathing through the nose so that you can activate the rest and restore side of your nervous system to also soothe your nervous system. Okay, I hope this was useful and helpful, and yeah, enjoy the practice.